new Thursday Night Football Amazon Prime analyst. Ryan Fitzmagic is making the media rounds, and their story's coming out. The water slide situation was asked about by Dan Le Batard's show. He did not answer.
Happy.
He was not happy. Let's move on.
What happened?
Sounds like that happened. Sounds like maybe.
Comment like that.
He pleaded to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th live on a podcast, which is awesome. Allegedly, there was a caller into a local radio show in D.C. that said immediately upon Fitzmagic going on to IR with his hip injury, anonymous caller on radio, could be anybody, said, I want to tell you the reason why Ryan Fitzmagic is hurt, because him and his family come into the water park, the slide park that I work at, and they like go down real fast slides. They always go down real fast slides. That's what they like doing. And we all seen it. It was right there in the middle of the thing. Ryan's kid went down, and he went down. He went flying down. He hit his hip off of one of the slides, I guess, and he limped out of the pool and went over the thing. We didn't see him get back on a slide ever again. They go, okay, thanks for the call. And then they go, is that what happened? Yeah. And then we find it on the internet, and then all of a sudden we have to talk about it because Fitzmagic just got paid, and he was automatically on IR. So it got shout out to the Dan Patrick Show asking about it, and he said,
ain't talking about it.
We're moving on. I mean, we're really.
He was pissed.
He wasn't happy to even feed it. So that means it's either complete bullshit, like we said could have been, or it's true. There's
absolutely happened.
Yes,
right.
There's no more that. But he also chit-chatted about he believes that he is that motherfucker that Tom Brady was speaking about in the barbershop with LeBron James and the boys in there. If you read the quote that he had on the Dan Le Batard show, if you go back to that again, that's before the 2019 season where the Dolphins are trying to assemble a roster that is going to help them get a better draft pick off next year. So it's not like that was going to be an attractive situation for Tom anyway. So I'm not sure why he was so upset about it, but I still believe to this day that I'm that mother. He also went on to Pardon My Take and chit-chatted about how whenever Tom threw 5 picks after a game against a game that Ryan Fitzmagic was in, he refused to come shake his hand afterwards. He felt disrespected by Tom. He feels like that's the whole thing, and he firmly believes that he is that motherfucker that they were chatting about. Now, is that because Brian Flores allegedly wouldn't go on the meeting on the yacht for Tom Brady to become part owner of the Dolphins and quarterback for the Dolphins? Brian Flores said, I'm not doing this. Probably because Brian Flores knew that was tampering, and he is currently a member of an organization that I just came from with Bill Belichick. Nonetheless, Tom could have taken that as Brian Flores going, nah, we want Ryan Fitzmagic over Tom Brady. But that is where Ryan Fitzmagic sits. He said on Pardon My Take, he said on Dan Le Batard's show. It's interesting. It adds definitely some fodder to the conversation. A lot of people think it's Derek Carr. Yep. Fitz thinks it's Fitz. AJ, what are your thoughts on it all?
I'm still holding strong that it was Derek Carr. It seems like it is that, like, when you look at everything involved, it does feel like it's natural for Derek Carr to be the guy, but I don't know. Fitz may have a point here.
Why do you think it was Derek Carr?
I mean, who was it? Dana White?
Dana.
They put the whole story out there, and Gronk basically co-signed. So, I mean, I feel like that was kind of the end of that.
So you think that the reason why the deal didn't get done is because John Gruden said, I would rather keep my Derek Carr guy instead of fucking Tom Brady. And Tom Brady, you're staying with that motherfucker? I understand maybe before the knee injury with Trent, whenever they're playing against us, Derek Carr was on his way to win an MVP that season. Christmas Eve gets hurt. His knee gets hurt. I think a lot of different things. The team moves cities. There's an entire rebuild. I think he's still a great quarterback. But Tom Brady, I believe, was talking to Derek Carr as well because of the co-signage of Gronk. But Fitzmagic's like, this guy doesn't like me. I want you to know, this guy does not like me. So there's a chance I'm on the receiving end of that motherfucker as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why he could think that, but and we got to remember too, when Brady was going through that, like, it wasn't like everybody thought Brady was going to be what he still is right now. His last year in New England, a lot of people were like, hey, this dude might be washed. He might be done. So Gruden, not surprised. He got a long-term contract. Maybe he said, I'll stick with the younger guy instead of this
He actually did come out and say that.
Yeah, who I probably have 2, maybe 3 years with. So
don't want to change his offense either.
Yeah, change his offense. So, I mean, it's the same guy that, got rid of Mack and drafted, another pass rusher that people think he reached for in the top 5. So, Gruden, I mean, he has a track record of falling in love with certain guys.
There was a quote that came out after this whole thing would have inevitably happened that he said, I would like to reiterate to everybody in Las Vegas, we are happy with our quarterback. He's a great young quarterback, basically. And at the time, I think everybody was like, oh, he's talking to Raiders fans who might be doubting Derek Carr. Now looking back, it's like, oh, he was talking to the organization.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what y'all motherfuckers want. Tom Brady, this guy, he's dead, man. I'll tell you what, man, that guy's dead. He threw the ball better in Tampa than he ever threw in New England. The people that said he was washed, those people should be taken to task, I think. Don't you, AJ? Because that was a thing at one time. Remember, we were talking about how many teams want to be involved with him and want Tom Brady in their door, and I was getting heat from people. Like, we don't want Tom Brady on here. I guess it's how Gruden felt as well.
Colts.
We assumed every team would have Tom Brady if Tom was willing to come there. They could work out a deal, but with the way I wonder how much homework Gruden did. Like, did Gruden go back and watch his last 2 years and see, like, okay, and then kind of give a presentation of what we're doing here, or why I want to, why I don't?
You don't think that Tom Brady was the topic of the Fired Football Coaches of America film session at 4:30 a.m. that was taking place every single day he was fired? I don't know. I guess we're going to learn more about John Gruden. I think his emails coming out.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to learn a lot about John Gruden.